Oh, you better stop. Oh, you better stop.
What I wanted to do is I wanted to come to y'all, and I don't want to edit this video as much as possible because I really want y'all to get the gist of this. This is a very hard topic to talk about because being 16 and pregnant is not the easiest thing to do. So I'm just going to jump right into it. There will be 3 parts in this series. So let's get to it. So let's just start out with the beginning, how I met the father. So we're going to give him a new name. We're going to call him, let's call him Keith. So we'll call him Keith. I met Keith when I was actually downtown on my way to a store. I'm going to pick up a few items, and he was working at a clothing store nearby. He was standing outside, I guess trying to get customers to come in and take a break, I don't know. And then he asked me for my number, and I was like, no, thank you. So I walked to the store and came back, and he approached me again, so he ended up giving me his number instead. I wasn't going to call him, but I did. Well, I texted him like 3 days later, because back then, the cool thing, you don't seem like you being, thirsty. You wait a few days and then you text. So I texted 3 days later. And, Keith was from New York. He's from Brooklyn. And he was 19, just turned 20, something like that. And I was 16. So there you go. So we started dating. He had his own place and stuff. He was in college. Great, things started to heat up, and we got a little serious. Started sleeping together. And my mom was the type of person that she would say, you should be out there, you can't be having sex, blah, 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 blah. You're not married, you're too young, da, 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 da. So, my sister found out that I was dating a guy, and then she was always trying to warn me, like, don't keep going over there, you need to come home on time, I'm not gonna keep lying for you, that you stay at school, you're really not. So I was like, I know. So, let's just keep moving right along. And, he was about to move out of his place and move in with his brother into a new place. And prior to that, my sister was like, you need to use protection, da, 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 da. So I was like, look, I went to him like, look, she's right, we need to be using protection in my mind. And then I told him, like, look, we need protection. I'm not trying to be pregnant. And then I had found out that he had not 1, but 2 daughters. So Keith was like, yeah, okay, that's fine. So we use protection. The first time we use protection, it breaks. And we thought he had caught it in time. Well, we found out not caught it in time. That doesn't make sense. It popped, and we immediately stopped, and then we just put another one on, and then things were done. And so, living life normally, I wasn't really having any problems. He was like, 3 weeks later, I don't even know the time frame to be exact. Then he asked me, he's like, are you pregnant? I was like, no, I feel fine, I'm great. He's like, I'm sleeping a lot. I just ate a really weird sandwich. I was like, what did you eat? He was like, I had a peanut butter sandwich with pickles on it. That's disgusting. But I was like, no, I'm not. I'm sleeping fine. There's nothing wrong with me. That you just having problems. So, then things start to go, continue on with him sleeping a lot, being tired, and I'm fine. And then next, I start getting real sleepy. No, let me back up. I didn't get sleepy first. I started eating a lot of candy. Not a lot, but I was like wanting sweets like all the time. And I was in my French class, and I started eating candy corn, and made me feel sick. I was like, oh, well, I can't eat no more of this candy. So I left the whole bag of candy in the desk. Excuse me. I started going home, and then each day I would start taking naps when I got home. I mean, I'm lazy. I was lazy then, so I like naps. But I wasn't taking naps, and I just automatically started taking naps again. I was like, okay, something's not right. So then my hunger started picking up. I started gaining weight. I was like, oh, I can't fit my clothes. Tiffany, my sister, started letting me wear some of her stuff. And then I started buying clothes that were a little bigger. And then I was in modern dance in high school. I had my dance shirt and other big shirts. I started wearing bigger shirts and stuff just because. And then one day I felt something flutter in my stomach. It felt like, if I could describe the way it felt like a little balloon move in my stomach, just like that. I was like, whoa, in the hallway, and I stopped. I'm like, what? It's like, what is that? Anyway, I'm pregnant. And then I kept going. I felt it again that day. I was like, I might be pregnant. So I see him. I was like, I think I might be pregnant. He said, oh my gosh, I didn't have another child. So I'm like, I don't want no kids either. I didn't want kids back then. I was 16 anyway, but you know, my life plan, I really didn't want kids. I didn't want to go through labor. I watched lots of labor shows and stuff like that. I was like, I don't want to go through none of that. So, time goes on and my stomach starts to show a little. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do now? His brother gets in some trouble, and then he ends up going back to New York to support him. My financial situation at home got a little rough, and so I ended up not having a cell phone anymore for a little while. And we would just talk on like Twitter and Facebook and stuff. But prior to him leaving, my cell phone was off at this time. So prior to him leaving, we had agreed on, look, we just gonna go get, we're gonna go to the clinic, and because we both don't want this right now. We just don't. This was just, what I'm saying, something we don't need. So the day of the appointment, I'm sitting on the bed, and our ride was almost there, and I was like sitting there freaking out because they called me the night before. This is when I got my phone back on. Excuse me. They called me the night before, and they told me about, these side effects and stuff from after, if you get an abortion, you can hear babies crying and screaming in the night and all kinds of stuff that was just freaking me out. So I'm like, I can't do that. Even that part was, but the lady was just as nice and sweet and calm. It's like, you can always back out. It's like, right. So I was like, no, I'll do it. So the day of the appointment was at like 11:30 or something like that. I felt, whatever, stay with him all day and take my med to go back home. So the ride is like 10 minutes away. I'm like, I'm about to kill somebody in my mind. Regardless of what other people think, it's your body, you can do what you like. It's just an abortion, you live. It really started to freak me out. Something, is moving inside of me, and I'm about to go and kill it, and then I'm gonna have to live with that for the rest of my life, and just going through all these different things in my mind. I was like, I don't want to see it on the table and squirming and stuff. Like, I didn't want to see none of that. This is what I never had an abortion. I never seen it on TV. I had no clue what they really do. And I know you have to watch this video, go through this class before you do it. So, or class or whatever, orientation or whatever. So I'm like, I'm really starting to freak out now. Like, am I really going to be able to live with this? Am I really going to be able to keep this a secret? So I ended up backing out. I was like, I can't do it. I just can't go. He was upset. He's like, come on. It took me so much time to keep it. Like, I took so much time to get this money up. And now you don't want to do it. So he was upset. He was like, all right. So I leave. Then jumping ahead a little bit, I started showing some more. Maybe I was about 3 months, maybe. I was like, look, I'm not going to be able to hide this much longer. So here comes the tough stuff. So now I'm gonna tell my mom that I'm not only having sex, but I'm pregnant now. So this was the middle of my sophomore year, towards the end, and I'm like, she gonna kill me. She gonna kill me. She's going to kill me. How am I gonna break it to her? So I end up telling her this huge lie. It's just, I mean, I don't even like to talk about that. I ended up telling her this huge lie about how I got pregnant the first time. And then like a day or two later, a few days later, too, like, you can't do that. It's not right. You shouldn't be lying. You didn't tell how you really got pregnant. You didn't tell that you got a boyfriend. So I ended up sitting my mom down, showing her this picture of this guy. Keith, it was his picture. He was like in like the 8th grade, something like that, 10th grade. I don't remember. And she's like, who is this? I was like, well, this is my boyfriend, and I told you it was a lie. I actually got pregnant, condom broke, and I got pregnant. She was just she was more irate the first time. She just couldn't believe it. She couldn't believe it. So she ended up, now we gotta schedule an appointment because you haven't been to the doctor. So she's calling, she used to work in a hospital. So she called the pediatric place, OBGYN over there, not pediatric. And then the nurse is going on, like they're arguing on the phone. She's 16 and pregnant. She's never been to the doctor. And I'm like, well, I just found out. So, don't yell at me. I'm just as shocked as you are. I don't know what to do. We need to get her in, blah, blah, blah. So I was then labeled high risk because I had never been to the doctor. I wasn't taking prenatals. I wasn't taking anything. So school is out, coming close to being out. And no, it was out. School was out by this time. So I go to the doctor, and, they told me I was at this point, I was like almost 5 months, and did blood work and stuff like that, and it was just really embarrassing. And sitting out there before we went to the appointment is the kicker. So me and my mom just sitting there, sometime for our appointment, she's like, I hope it was worth it. It's like, the shame and stuff and the embarrassment, you can't say, the mom has the right to be upset. You in her eyes, you're ruining your life, or you this and the third. But I told her, like, I'm going to finish high school. I'm not going to be, part of the statistic of being a single mom and drop out. I'm not going to do that. That's never been a part of my plan from the get-go. My life's plan was always to, if I was going to have children, I wanted to marry a high school sweetheart. Like, I had all of this planned out. I wanted to have a high school sweetheart. I wanted us to be in college, get engaged around my junior year in college. Like, I really had this planned out, okay? I wanted to then get married, and if I had kids, I wanted to have them after I finished college and got somewhat established. So around that time, I was thinking 24, well, I wanted all of that to go down. So, life plan is shattered. Now I have to rearrange my plans. I was determined to finish school, but I didn't want to stay at my school, because I was somewhat, well known. I wasn't popular like I was in middle school and elementary, but I was very well known. I talked to a lot of people, very sociable person. So I wanted to just leave the school because the embarrassment was just too much. I didn't want everybody in my face. I felt like I wasn't going to be able to handle it. So I went to a different school. And they had a program called Homebound, where when you have the baby, you basically take your classes at home, and then you come back after 6 or 12 weeks, I can't remember, and then you just, move along. So I had never been to the school. It was my first time. So me going to the school, I was at this time almost 7 months when school came back in. So June, July, August is when you go back to school. So about almost 7 months. And there was this guy that I used to talk to. We're going to call him Tom. Tom. And I was prior to, right before Keith, my boyfriend, and I started dating. I didn't date this guy. I talked to him he was really sweet, and we used to sing because he could sing. He could sing. and I could sing. So we used to do like duets and stuff like that together, just have a good time. So I didn't know he went to that school. So when I walk into my first class, my history class, here you go, I'm like, deep breath, hold your head up, you've already done this, you know what I'm saying, you're already pregnant, it's nothing they can do but ask you questions, and maybe you'll get some rude stares and stuff, and it's going to be fine, just walk into the class. And this is me standing outside with my textbook, so I'm just going to hold my textbook kind of in front of my stomach so everybody can't see it. So my stomach was about, I was not big, so maybe it was sticking out like this much. So I held the textbook, and I had my purse on the other arm, and I just went and came in. And then the teacher was like, oh, hi, yes, I've been expecting you. We heard all about you. I'm just going to sit you over here. And then I kind of moved my textbook. She's like, oh, well, you're pregnant. Well, congratulations. Like, thank you. Looking at all these kids looking at me like, they got a completely different reaction. Like, oh my goodness. Oh. And so, yeah. So I walked into the room, and the desk was the one with the arm. With the desk comes around, you can rest your arm here in the desk. So my stomach wasn't that big just yet. So I could kind of sit, but I had to sit back and try to pay attention to class. So then here we go, that class goes, it goes. And there's this nice gentleman guy in there. We're going to name him, let's call him Cole. So Cole comes up to me and he's like, oh my goodness, do you want me to carry your books for you? I mean, just the sweetest guy. I was like, no, I'm fine, thank you. I'm like, okay, I hope you don't mind, but can I touch your stomach? And the girl across from me, like, she don't want you to touch her stomach. Why would you ask that? I was like, yeah. I just kind of laughed it off. He said, oh, I'm sorry, I don't mean to be disrespectful. I was like, no, it's okay if I didn't let him touch my stomach because I know this guy. You can't let people touch your stomach. Spirits, people crazy. So, I go to the math class, and this was algebra. No, I was taking geometry because I took algebra 2. The previous, right? I can't remember. So no, I took algebra 2 my senior year, and then I took my whatever the other math is that you take to get out of high school. So I was taking geometry, and I walk in, and the guy not Cole, excuse me, I didn't even get we'll call him Alonzo. So Alonzo was sitting in the corner of the room. Now this time I didn't have my stomach like really covered, so you could see I was pregnant. So I walk in, he looks at me, and he's like, what? I was like, hey, try not to really pay him any attention. And then this other guy that I was cool with when I was growing up was in the class also. He's like, oh my gosh, it's Latia. I'm like, so now I gotta sit then she sits me next to Alonzo, and then we'll call him Jim. Jim was sitting like 2 desks ahead of me to the left. So I'm sitting here. Alonzo's sitting 1 desk across from me. He moves over to the desk. And I'm like, please ask me questions. Please ask me questions. So he was like, he just asked me to be. He was like, wow, is he pregnant? I was like, yep. Like, it's about the guy that you started dating. I was like, yep. So he was upset. I mean, visibly upset. He's like, so, I mean, we didn't even date, but okay. I mean, we had good vibes, but I never dated that guy. So he was upset. And I was like, this is going to be the most awkward class to come to every day. So as time goes on, it started getting bigger. And in my history class, my son really liked my history class because he would move all the time when I was in that class. So I would have to turn and sit this way because my stomach couldn't fit at the desk anymore. Because, the desks are so close. So I would have to turn and sit to the side in the class. And then going places was just so embarrassing. Because you could obviously tell I was really young. But I would just hold my head up high. And I would just go where I got to go. And just, take the looks and the stares and the whispers. And just eat it. I mean, you got to eat it because at that point you've already, accepted that you're going to do this. And I mean, the looks and stuff, I was determined to just hold my head high because I've already accepted this and I'm going through it and I'm already praying and there's nothing else I can do about it. And you would just see the older people and they would just be like, oh my goodness. Someone was like, oh, congratulations. What do you do? And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm wow, you look so young. Like, yeah. I mean, the comments, I didn't get very many rude comments, thank the Lord, but I would get the stares. I would get the double takes and the, you know, and you can only hold your head high and just go through it and mentally talk to yourself all the time. I didn't want to take pictures of myself because I was that embarrassed. I only had like maybe 1 or 2 pictures, and they weren't that good of being pregnant because I was just so ashamed. But I did it. I walked. I went through it. It's not easy. You know, people are like, oh, I can't believe she had being fat. Da, da, da. Yeah, you know, that's exactly what happened. But going through it is like a nightmare. It is a nightmare because the humility, it's just like out there. It's like you got a sign on, hey, I'm 16 and pregnant. But it's your belly. You know what I'm saying? So it was very hard to go through that. And then you get used to it. You get numb to it after a while if you have tough skin. I definitely got numb to it. I'm like, but I got a lot of kind people. I met a lot of kind people going through it, so it wasn't that bad. But dealing with my mom got really, really bad because, you know, look at me. So we didn't argue a lot. After I got about 7 months, you know, it was pretty much, I'm still going to school, I'm coming home, eating, going to sleep. You know, we would laugh at my stomach moving around and everybody would touch my belly in the house. And so it got better. And then, when I was going to go to school that morning that I went in labor, I was getting ready and, I started having contractions. It was like 2 hours before I had to get up. So I started moving around, put the pillow on the other side of my stomach because he liked pillows underneath my belly so I could sleep. That didn't work, so I put the pillow on the other side, and then I sat up. I started laughing. I was like, oh my gosh, I think I'm in labor. My mom, everybody's asleep. I'm like, okay. Instead of me being the one freaking out, I'm like, okay, I got to wake her up and calm her down because I'm in labor. So I'm like, I'm giggling. So I'm like, okay, let me go and tell her that I'm in labor. My water didn't break. I'm like, Mom. She's like, I said, I think I'm in labor. She said, what? I'm like, calm down, just breathe. Just breathe, I think I'm in labor. What? Oh my goodness. It was a few hours. Well, call your ride because I got transportation to go to school. I didn't have to catch a bus or anything like that. They would physically send a vehicle to pick me up from school and after school. To school and after school. So I called like, I'm in labor. So, oh my gosh, congratulations. Okay, well just let me know if you need anything. She was the nicest driver. So, all day goes by. I don't go to the hospital till about 10:29 that night. My mom was like, you know, tell the ambulance, you know, don't have the sirens going off. We don't want everybody to know what's going on. So the ambulance comes, we go, and labor was a pro. Like, before I talk about labor, being pregnant with my first child was the easiest thing ever. It was almost like I wasn't pregnant if he wasn't moving around and I wasn't snacking. Okay? I didn't have morning sickness. I didn't have none of that. I didn't have nausea. I got a little heartburn towards the end. But other than that, I was perfectly fine. Walk, come and go. I got a little tired towards the end. But the day before, I went back up just a little bit. The day before I realized I was in labor was when I was sitting down drinking a lot. I had a gallon jug of water, and I was just chugging it, and my feet swole up. My feet had never swollen up, and then I went in labor the next day. So we go to the hospital, and the nurses and stuff, were there, and my OBG, she was a midwife. She was the bomb, and she was from Virginia. I'm from Virginia. She was the bomb, the best midwife. Dr. Barton, if you ever see this video, I am so thankful for you because you were my saving grace, okay? She was amazing, and she was delivering other babies. She's like, oh, you're here. She's like, you ready to go? I'm like, She's like, all right, well, kick back, get ready. She was just a godsend. Like, I love that lady. She was the bomb. The best midwife you could have ever had was Dr. Barton. So, she said, well, I gotta go deliver I gotta pop a few more babies out, and I'll be back. Some of the nurses that came in that I had never seen, they were like, oh, you're really young to be having a child. I'm like, well, yeah. But let me just give you a little side story. So I have 2 younger brothers, and them being small from newborns all the way up, my mom taught us how to take care of them. So it's not like I had no experience with newborns and babies. I had all of that. I knew exactly how to hold them, feed them, burp them, wipe them, change them, diapers, swaddle, you name it. So I wasn't one of those moms that ain't never held a newborn baby but had no clue. I know how to do all of it. I know how to make sure there ain't no bubbles get into the baby's stomach while they're drinking the milk, hold the bottle just right, make sure you get glass bottles because they're better than plastic. Like, I knew all of that. So they didn't know I knew that. So after I had the baby, they were shocked at how well I knew how to do all this stuff. But back to the story. So about 6 in the morning, we was in there. I mean, we were lively still. I wasn't asleep yet. They're like, you might want to try to get, close your eyes for a little bit because, once we get started, you're going to get very tired. So I'm like, all right. So I closed my eyes. I felt like I closed my eyes for 5 minutes. And it was 7 o'clock. And then next, they're like, okay, your contractions are coming off the page. Hold on. Let me back up. I forgot to talk about the epidural. So my mom was like, it's long. That needle is long as an unsharpened pencil. Now, that's what was scaring me. Making sure I got to the hospital on time to get the epidural and having the epidural done. Because she was telling me, all right, they're going to make you hold a pillow. You have to hold your head down. You cannot move, or you could possibly become paralyzed if it pinches a nerve or something like that, or hits a nerve, whatever. So I tried not to look at the needle. I saw the protective wrap the needle was in, but I didn't look at it. I saw the tray come around. I kept my head looking down that way and looking down. And he's like, all right, well, the nurse was like, okay, so take this pillow. So what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to have you hold your head down and I'm going to hold your shoulders. Do not move. You talk about sweating bullets. Now, my contractions were bearable. So when I would have one, I would be completely fine. And then, they were fine. So I got the epidural in. It was just, I was sweating bullets. When they put that numbing needle, I was like, please don't let the other one feel like that. But I forgot. It's a numbing needle. So once the epidural is in, the contractions are fine. I got to, on the scale for them reading the contractions, 80%. I could tolerate 80%. If it would have went past 80%, I would have been done. Okay? It was the point where I could hold my mom's hand and just breathe. And just, I didn't scream. I do not. Whoo! And I would come out of it and just, so I was a champ. Okay? Them contractions were nothing. Now, my second son, that's another story. But, so, epidural's in at 7 o'clock. And it's like, all right, it's time to start pushing. I'm like, oh, shoot. Here it is. So the whole world changed when she said it's time. I'm like, uh-oh, I'm about to meet this child. I'm actually about to do it. Like, I'm actually about to do it. I'm about to push him out, do it. So, I'm like, oh, shoot. So, I push and push twice. On the third push, he kicked me and pushed himself out. I kid you not. Bloop. And then they put him on. He was screaming. And then I just broke down crying. All the tears that I did not cry during my pregnancy, for all the embarrassment, the hurt, the shame, not wanting him. All of that stuff just came flooding back over me. And I just cried and cried and cried my eyes out. And it was, she's like, what are you crying? You should be happy. Like, because I didn't want him. That's what I told her. At first I didn't want him, but he's so beautiful. And I was just holding and kissing and crying. It was just, oh. And then it was like when you close your eyes for that first time after having your child and you open them after they give them to you, the whole world changed. Like, you could spot everything that could be a danger to your child and just being like, mommy mode, come on. Ask any mother that had a child. When you open your eyes back up, the whole world changed. I don't know what it is. It's like, mommy is here. She done arrived and came into my body and she here now. I mean, the whole room like, and you looking around like, what? All the pain, all gone. Everything disappeared. You didn't even remember what the contractions felt like. Then you got to deliver the placenta, And then I had to be so, you saw this long needle going up and down and up and down and up and down. But I was just so amazed by my child. I wasn't even worrying about her. It's just sewing me back to life. So, it did a great job. But, because I tore a little bit because he had his hand in his mouth. That's why he didn't come out on the first two pushes. And he moved his hand and I tore a little bit. So yeah, that's just a nutshell, you know. Whew, it was very hard. Life just got a little harder after that, but we will go through that on the next video of 17 and having a son. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. Until next time.
Oh, you better stop. Oh, you better stop.